Hello everyone and welcome to Walking Through the Bible. With the Wall of Jerusalem now built and the end of the year festivals now over with, the commitment by Israel to serve God according to the law of Moses, the next task of business was to fully repopulate Jerusalem. But how would this be done? Let's find out. So if you have a Bible with you, you can turn to Nehemiah chapter 11. We're going to be reading from verses 1 to 14. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So Nehemiah chapter 11, beginning at verse 1. Now the leaders of the people dwelt at Jerusalem, and the rest of the people cast lots to bring 1 out of 10 to dwell in Jerusalem, the holy city, and 9/10 were to dwell in other cities. And the people blessed all the men who willingly offered themselves to dwell at Jerusalem. These are the heads of the province who dwelt in Jerusalem. But the cities of Judah, everyone dwelt in his own possessions in their cities. Israelites, priests, Levites, Nethinim, and descendants of Solomon's servants. Also in Jerusalem dwelt some of the children of Judah and of the children of Benjamin. The children of Judah, Athahiah, the son of Uzziah, the son of Zechariah, the son of Amariah, the son of Shephatiah, the son of Mahaliel, of the children of Perez. And Messiah, the son of Baruch, the son of Kolhozah, the son of Haziah, the son of Adiah, the son of Joarib, the son of Zechariah, the son of Sheloni. All the sons of Perez who dwelt at Jerusalem were 468 valiant men. And these are the sons of Benjamin: Salu, the son of Meshullam, the son of Joed, the son of Pedaiah, the son of Koliah, the son of Maaseiah, the son of Ithiel, the son of Jeshiah. And after him, Gabai and Salai, 928. Joel, the son of Zichri, was their overseer, and Judah, the son of Senua, was second over the city. Of the priests, Jediah, the son of Joarib, and Jachin, Sariah, the son of Hilkiah, the son of Meshullam, the son of Zadok, the son of Marioth, the son of Ahitub, was the leader of the house of God. Their brethren who did the work of the house were 822. And Adiah, the son of Jehoram, the son of Peliah, the son of Amzai, the son of Zechariah, the son of Pashur, the son of Malchijah, and his brethren, heads of the fathers' houses, were 242. And Amishai, the son of Azarel, the son of Azai, the son of Meshillemoth, the son of Immer, and their brethren, mighty men of valor, were 128. Their overseer was Zabdiel, the son of one of the great men. When Nehemiah got back to Jerusalem back in chapter 2, it appears that Jerusalem was largely inhabited by some of the nobles, priests, and leaders, but the population itself was low due to the fact that the wall was in disrepair. As we said back then, it's not that the wall was completely gone, but it wasn't going to act as too much of a deterrent against attack, and thus there wasn't a lot of people who desired to live there. However, with the wall rebuilt, the Jews really needed to repopulate the city if it was going to act as their capital, and if the temple was going to function properly. Up on the screen now is a picture of Jerusalem. The solid yellow line represents the wall of the city that was repaired in the days of Nehemiah, meaning that the city itself would have been, geographically, about the same size as it was in the days of Solomon. The temple would be at the north end of the city, with the residences being built south of that. As for the western hill, the section of the city built back in Hezekiah's day, back in chapter 3 it is said that the broad wall was rebuilt, and that would be the dotted line on the north end of the picture. However, chapter 3 doesn't say that the entire section surrounding the other two sides was rebuilt, and in fact, archaeology of that time period seems to suggest that it wasn't. Now, of course, eventually it was, and it was even expanded further than that to include a northwest section of the city before the days of Jesus. But those expansions would require an influx of money, but also a real need, for in Hezekiah's day, the city only really expanded following the arrival of some refugees fleeing the Assyrian takeover of northern Israel. In Nehemiah's day, there simply wasn't enough people to warrant populating that section of the city. What first must happen is that you populate the city that you have, which again was quite low, and then, as the need arises, build out from there. Doing this is part of the reason that the census was done back in chapter 7. The leaders needed to know just how many lived in Judah and from what families, so that it could be best decided as to who would come to live in Jerusalem. There would be advantages and disadvantages to living in Jerusalem, with one of the advantages being that as the capital, this would likely be a wealthy city, at least in comparison to other big cities, making the people living there likelier to be better off. However, Jerusalem would also have a big bullseye placed on it as the capital, thus making it a likelier target of war. So, how the city was populated was largely by lot, where 10 families would be chosen and one lot would fall to the family that would move to Jerusalem, with the rest living in the surrounding cities in Judah. Now, of course, there would be some that would freely move to Jerusalem on their own, and these men were said to be blessed because they willingly offered to move their family there. But I suggest that those who freely came was not a large number, hence why lots were taken. Now, in the scriptures, we have often seen when lots are used, it being the Lord is the one deciding the matter, speaking by lot. And since we have no indication to the contrary here, it can be safely assumed that that is what is going on here, that the Lord ultimately selected who would live in Jerusalem. And what we find is that we get a mixture of the tribes of Judah and Benjamin, the two major tribes that returned, as well as some of the priests and Levites, with the Levites being covered in the next lesson, along with the Nethinim. Were there representatives of the other tribes as well? Almost certainly. However, the focus here in Nehemiah is on the tribes of Judah and Benjamin. We're not going to focus on the names here, except to note that many of these names were given to us back in 1 Chronicles 9, further showing us that that document belongs to the post-exilic period. We'll continue discussing the repopulation of Jerusalem, the Lord willing, in the next lesson. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Nehemiah chapter 11, verses 15 to 36, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. We thank you for watching Walking Through the Bible today. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below. But if you like this video, we ask that you consider subscribing to our channel so you won't miss out on other videos in our series, as well as share this video among your friends so that the saving message of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.